Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Bahrain. I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk is the incredible, the legendary, the one and only King Kodiak. How you doing?
Very well, very excited to be in the combox for this race. I don't normally make it in time for this series, but having watched the previous races in this season so far, this is absolutely fantastic. I love this series. I love everything going on with the Rwagnation, to be quite honest, especially its host.
Well, thank you very much for the very nice and very complimentary message there. But you have the decision. Who do we go on board with for the hot lap?
Oh, Beaker.
All right. Where is he? Oh, P7. Have I got him? Yes, I did. Cool. Oh, he's lost it already going in towards turn 1 then. That was a mistake and a half there. Yep, standard Beaker. And he's P8 right now.
He is indeed. He's gone through 1, 2, and 3, heading down towards 4. He's got some time to make up, but currently sits around about the 7th mark. Hits his brakes. Oh, it's really awkward going through 4 in these F2 cars. Once you get on the gas a little bit earlier, it feels very, very clumsy coming through there. Now through 5, 6, and 7. Patience on the gas coming down the hill towards turn 8. He's not too bad on the apex there. Not too bad. He's really making up time. Looks like others have made a bit more of a hash of that particular section. We are now well into sector 2 and coming down into turn 10. Expect some action going on into that particular turn. Now one of the shorter straights heading down towards turn 11. You're going to expect a lot of side-by-side going on into this DRS zone, into turn 11. It may not be a big braking zone, but you really need to pay attention as a lot of people go for their overtakes into that particular turn. Now through 12, 13, into 14. Oh, nearly runs while using every available into the road. Very nicely done by Beaker. It looks like he's fighting Marky Mark for this particular spot. The two McLarens, it looks like they are sealing out the front row. We will see as we come streaming on down towards the final turn. Again, you can have the perfect lap and bin it so easily here. The Beaker keeps it all nice in check and streaming down to the line. Let us see how the grid is going to form. It's the McLarens, but well, you can see that how costly that one mistake was as Beaker a couple of tenths off the back of Cryptic, but a great effort, and what a absolute stonker there from Piloto Paya to take the top spot.
That was almost a full second ahead of Beaker there. That just kind of shows how fast Piloto Paya is. I heard from him, from Beaker actually, just before this race happened, that Piloto Paya is one of the fastest F2 drivers in the world at this track. So, fair play to him. Well done. He deserves that pole position and those 4 points. And this is your rundown at the end of the one-shot qualifying. So, Piloto sticks it on pole. He's going to be ahead of everybody at the beginning of the feature race, which has got Cryptic there on the front row of the grid joining him, with Beaker and Racing Rick, 2 of the Dutchies there in the second row, with Marky and Nick Sana, in 5th and 6th. Toto, Bottasgang 7th and 8th, Hardy and Horn Badger in 9th and 10th, with Ravenduck the best of the rest. And the only other driver to finish was Lugger, as Prefix and Marquez both DQ'd at the end of that. So it's likely they ran wide, likely they invalidated as a result of that, and they will have to start at the very back of the grid going into this feature race.
It's so easy to do. That's the thing with this kind of track. 15 turns, very technical circuit. The main straight is the biggest area where they can be flat out for so long. But it's so easy to run right. You've got that twisty set from 5, 6, and 7. And 11 through 13 and in 14, we saw Beaker running almost too wide through there, but he did it absolutely spot on. The difference between getting absolutely bang on and running over the line is so fine. So, yeah, it's not surprising that a few people may well have struggled a little bit in that qualifying session. This is not a track to be taken lightly.
Definitely not. But I am surprised we don't have rain. I mean, it's quite a common occurrence to have rain in this track, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, totally. It's amazing that we're actually seeing daylight as well.
We are indeed. Oh, I'm looking at Piloto, and he has brake and accelerator locked on at the same time. Clearly knows something I don't. Badger has sadly left the session, so should be getting an invite very quickly to get back in again. But Piloto, there it is. That was super quick. Well done there, Ravenduck. I don't know if that's an actual tactic or not. I don't know if Piloto knows something I don't, but he was very much full brake, full accelerator. He was
dragging the brake all the way down to turn 4. I was reading the same thing. That's a new one on me, I must admit. But, I mean, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, especially Piloto. You don't get to be this fast in the F2 cars without knowing something, so fair play to him. If he's got a way to work around it, I'm going to have to try that the next time I drive these F2 cars. We'll give it a time. But Piloto and Cryptic, the two teammates in the Campos Racing cars, they're going to be starting off the front row of the grid, and everybody's gone for the medium tyre.
Everyone has gone for the medium tyre. See, out of habit, I call them McLarens because, of course, the colour scheme.
Well, yeah.
I'm not too accustomed to the F2 cars, but as far as teams are concerned, I will absolutely confess I have driven them a little bit. So this is a type of car you can jump in and drive. It's a bit more forgiving than certainly the F1 cars are, and certainly some more than some of the classic cars are. But even still, it's you do need to work at it to get the really good setups. And what's going on further back? We seem to have a bit of a clump towards the back.
Badger?
What's going on here? Has Badger stopped?
Well, Badger and Raven Duck. So I know Badger had to leave and rejoin, so that's why he's fallen behind. You got Raven Duck there, who's clearly had an issue. He's not in AI mode, which tells me he's actually driving. Maybe he's just refocusing. There has been Nixana reset to the grid. So I don't know if there was contact. Well, there can't be contact between both of them, because otherwise they'd both have been reset to the grid.
Who knows? That was a bit of an unusual one. Hopefully we'll get some insight on what happened to that later on in the race, but they are beginning to reform. So now the tensions begin to rise as the parade lap is done. The practice is over with. Qualifying is sorted, and Torza has rejoined. I thought someone had left the session, but Torza is rejoining. He's not on the grid, though, is he? Oh, he should be 7th. No, so I think Torza is missed the boat, which is a great shame, starting in the middle of the pack.
We might be waiting for... Oh, no, we're waiting for Badger to get into his position. There it is. Here we go, then. So, lights are about to be on screen in just a second. Any second now.
Yeah, race director taking his time.
Yeah. Any time now. I don't know if we've got a driver that's able to drive off. I have seen this once or twice where somebody can just drive off. No.
No one looks in a hurry to get on with it.
Especially the race control, that's the main one.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's admiring the really rare sunshine that goes on here.
Oh, I'm told it's Badger that's causing the problem. There we go. There it is. Yeah, there you go. Suddenly it is fixed. So the lights are on then. Bahrain Grand Prix about to get kicked off. And off we go with Bahrain. Badger's back in again. Lots of lag going on a little bit. Cryptic's got the drive off the start. He's alongside of his teammate, but he also, crucially, has the inside line in towards turn 1. Lots of movement. Is that Racing Rick, who's gone for a huge lunge? No, it is not. It was Marky Mark making his way up the field. He's in 5th place right now. He's really starting to make... Oh, big wobble there from Nixana. Did not want to make that mistake, and sadly has cost him a little bit. Yellow flag sector 1. I don't see that. It was Marcus, I think. Oh, look at it.
It was Luger. He had a spin coming out of turn 1. I couldn't see whether there was impact there, but he ended up facing the wrong way. Oh, that's Hardy! Hardy's gone round. He's collected someone. I didn't see who it was that he hit. Prefix that is gone on there. That's on the exit turn 4. Oh, my goodness me. And even though these cars are a bit easy to drive, they still have a lot of horses that they want to deploy at once. It's very easy just to spin up the rear wheels. Especially on these medium tyres, they don't bite quite that easily. You're very, very close when you're looking at Beaker and Marky Mark there.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very close coming out turn 10.
Oh, we've had a spin in the back. Who's that? Raven Duck? It is Raven Duck. He's had a spin at the back. And it's took him all the way to the back almost. Hardy F1 is the only one who's left to catch him, and he's actually right here alongside of him. And that's a position swap. So Raven Duck made one slight mistake. Well, I say slight. It was a huge mistake and just sent him all the way to the back of the grid. But somehow, Cryptic managed to jump his teammate and is currently running away with this.
He is, isn't he? He's got nearly a second's gap in between himself and Piloto Paya, which, judging by the qualifying times, you would have never have assumed by the end of the first lap. And I mean no disrespect to Cryptic whatsoever, but it's just not what you expect. Such a big gap after a single lap, but that is what he faces. So Piloto is really in danger, as Beaker is of not getting any kind of DRS next time around, but we will see. Mikey Mark is looking to make a move for that third position. He's gone with the inside line to turn 1. Can he hold it? Can he get it done? He can, but Beaker's holding on as best as he can. Wants the inside for 2, but he's lost his momentum. Mikey Mark on the rumble strip now. It's going to stream all the way down the straight towards turn 4, but what a great exit from 3 for Beaker. He's retained that what is actually reading now a second position. We've lost someone. Yeah, he's down to 7th. Oh, what a shame. I didn't actually see the incident. I was too transfixed with Beaker and Marky Mark.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I didn't see it myself either because I was in the same boat, but from looking what happened, it looked like he just lost the rear. There's another spin further back. That's Lugger, who's having issues, currently trying to put his car in the right direction, but we need to go back to the scrap that's going on with Racer Rick and Marky Mark because this could change, especially if Marky Mark does that big contact into the back of Beaker, and that was a massive, massive contact. 3-second time penalty straight off the bat for that severe collision. It looked like he just couldn't stop the car going, and he wanted to continue turning. Unfortunately, Beaker was in the way. No damage on Beaker's car, just a severe inconvenience, which has put him down to P7. But there is definite damage on Marky Mark's car. That left end plate is gone.
Yeah, and that is going to hurt a track like this. As Cryptic has overcooked the wide lines a little bit too much. He's back up to 4th, but that 2-second gap, 2-second penalty may well hurt as Bottas Gang is on his tail. And now Nixana is on the back of Racing Rick. So Beaker is down to 7th. He's had a problem somewhere in the lap as well. Horton Badger, despite the fact that he was seemingly very reluctant to get going, is now up into 6th position. That's Beaker making a move on the Scotsman, heading down the start-finish straight. That's going to be a simple swap around, I'd have thought. And right behind them is that Prafix from Raven Duck, I think, is making the move.
Well, we've got two battles going on right now. We've got Nixana and Racing Rick. They're currently side by side as well. And then you've got the same Cryptic and Bottas Gang. They're currently battling. I think Bottas Gang might actually get him here. Yes, he has. He is ahead. I think he's got DRS to go with it. Yep, indeed. So Bottas Gang manages to secure 4th. Racing Rick and Nixana keep chopping and changing. Cutbacks galore. Nixana does get P2, though, in the bag. But Cryptic and Bottas Gang, they are not ending this fight anytime soon.
That was well defended there by Bottas Gang to remain
Beaker,
ahead.
no.
Oh, what's happened to Beaker? What's he done?
It was a frustration, I think. I can't see the damage. Oh, no, he actually did hit the wall. Yeah,
he's binned it. He's over.
Oh, somebody's following him. Is that Lugger? Oh, same
Lugger.
place again.
Lugger has really struggled. These tyres are just fried as the wrecked remains of Beaker's car stares into the wall. He's overcooked that one at turn 4, I would have thought. But I'm jumping back to 2nd, the battle for 2nd, I should say, between Nexana and Racing Rick. See what's going on there. And behind them, Bottas Gang and Cryptic continue their battle for 4th position. So the top half of the field almost are locked in some absolutely fantastic battles.
The only person who's not is Piloto Paya, who's just literally picked up his baggage and legged it. The guy is gone. Cryptic coming up towards the back of Bottas Gang. I think he's going to be the next of the battles to commence. You can see Bottas Gang didn't quite take as much of the track as he probably should have done, and Cryptic has punished him for that. Right on the rear of him, looking for a very smooth DRS train up to turn 1. There isn't any DRS for Bottas Gang. Here he comes then, Cryptic. Beautiful move, coming to the inside. Should be done by the time we get to the braking zone, but he's coming across him a little bit. Might cause issues. Nope. Nice and tidy, clean as you like. Cryptic up to P4.
Oh, Cryptic was really putting the squeeze on Bottas there. There was a little uncalled for, but there wasn't enough racing room there. But yeah, there goes Bottas Gang. That's what I thought would happen. That's the problem with overtaking before you get to turn 1 is then the second DRS zone kicks in and Bottas Gang then flies through, but he's overcooked that one into turn 4. Here we go again. These two side by side coming down to 5, 6, and 7, and Bottas Gang. Words, commentator, please come. Bottas Gang doing a brilliant job again of fending off Cryptic, and they're not really falling off the back of that battle for 2nd between Nixana and Racing Rick, but they're far enough away to not get DRS. That's the crucial part. If they were able to close in just that extra 10th of a second, that would really help Bottas Gang, one, defend against Cryptic. Not that he needs any help, because he's doing a brilliant job at the moment of staying exactly where he needs to be. But, Bottas Gang had a cracking exit there from turn 10. Cryptic had no answer to Bottas whatsoever, heading down that straight towards turn 11. Of course, Bottas Gang doesn't have DRS. Cryptic did, and could do nothing about the car ahead of him for 4th position. But it does look like they're gaining, and yep, Bottas Gang now in DRS range of Racing Rick. So that battle is going to double in size very, very quickly.
It is, and it's about to become a real problem for Cryptic because he's stuck behind Bottas Gang now, and the DRS there for the Univirtuosi means it's just going to be a difficult run for Cryptic. He has to sit in the toe of this. He can't sit in it too long because this is a 25% feature race and time is running out. 3 laps to go, 4 if you include the remainder of this one. Is he going for a late lunge? Racing Rick, this is going to be a huge lunge into the apex, but he's not quite pulled it off. That was a very ambitious move, and now he's under attack from Bottas Gang, who's much closer than Racing Rick is to Nick Sana. I don't think there's going to be anything at all, but Racing Rick needs to watch out for a late lunge. I think Cryptic might have been on the horizon. I don't know why Bottas Gang decided to go so defensive all of a sudden, but he did. It didn't work out for him. Didn't lose anything either, though. It's just business as usual, although Nick Sana looks like he's real sense cave now.
Yeah, Cryptic's acting as a great camera car for the battle right ahead of him, and once again Racing Rick, who compromised his line coming out of 3, trying to make that massive lunge on turn 1, but he's caught right back up with Nick Sana again, and Bottas is like, yeah, you carry on, I'm going to pick my moment. He may well actually try and nail the pair of them again. Bottas has got the timing of that exit from turn 10 spot on. Look at the distance he's opened up between himself and Cryptic. I wouldn't be surprised if Cryptic is sporting some front wing damage because he seems very, very slow. That front downforce doesn't really do a lot in turn 10, granted, but it does something through turn 9 on the lead up to that point. And if you're having to be very, very cautious, oh, that's Nick Sana. That's 1 to 2 wide on the exit of 13, and that's just given Racing Rick. Oh no! They gave Racing Rick the line, but he didn't know Bottas Gang was there. Oh no, that is tragic for Bottas Gang, who's done so well. Now, big chunk of the front left wing is gone. Oh, that is absolute travesty.
It really is. Feels sad, man, for Bottas Gang, but the fight doesn't stop. Nick Sana trying to get P2 back. Racing Rick comes over with a very late move, but it's still fair game. Nick Sana's up in a P2. Racing Rick was trying to get the inside line. He's still there, still holding it. It's going to be on the apex fight, and I think Nick Sana will get the exit. Yes, he will. A little bit of contact again. Here comes Cryptic looking for this move as well. DRS for both of them. Nick Sana's the only one who doesn't have it. How he's going to answer to this, I'm not sure, because Racing Rick is not afraid to send it. Neither is Cryptic, but Racing Rick has gone full send. Cryptic's looking for the double cutback. This is going to be a 3-wide. Racing Rick loses the rear, and somehow everybody's alive except 1 second because they're still scrapping. They're still side by side. A little bit of an elbow there sends Racing Rick off track to bring it itself back. But Cryptic, they're still going.
I'll give them the dues. They've had their Weetabix for breakfast this morning. That's absolutely fantastic. As Raven Duck has opted to retire his car, he's brought that one into the pits. He's had enough of the race today. But Cryptic is really on for a good kind of banzai move as Marky Mark. Badger is round. Badger is facing the wrong way. He's had an issue on the exit of turn 8, I believe. So Marky Mark's gone past him. He's lost a whole bucket load of time. That's a great shame for him. As also Hardy and Prefix are scrapping for. I think that's Prefix has had a problem, which has allowed Hardy through. But once again, this battle for second continues to rage. And just in case you've forgotten, Piloto Pala is I've said it the wrong way around. Piloto Paya rather is right the way up 10 seconds ahead. Cryptic had to bail on that one. He missed the breakers. I mean, fair play. He could have absolutely ploughed into the back of Nick Sana, but he opted for the safer route to just ditch it on the outside. And that's given Racing Rick a great opportunity to try and attack Nick Sana. He's had a look on the inside. He's going to try this move again. Dives on the inside of turn 1, but cannot get the power down when he needs it. And Nick Sana holds on to second position, but that bail cost Cryptic a huge amount of time. However, he is getting back into DRS range, or could very well get back into that crucial DRS range before too long, but they don't have long left. Less than 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it was a very ambitious dive there from Racing Rick. He really compromised his exit speed, which has allowed Nick Sana to just run off and secure P2. And again, Racing Rick spending the entire lap building up for that exact moment. Just not quite getting it. A little bit of a touch there between the two. No damage. But again, like you said, this is allowing Cryptic to get more involved in this. It's also allowing Race Leader to get even further ahead. 10 seconds is the current gap. Cryptic now just within DRS range. We'll actually have DRS on this straight here. And Cryptic, running out of time, running out of choices, is going to have to start putting everything on the line if he wants to get P2.
I imagine he does, and he's not giving up on it whatsoever. It's going to be down to last of the late breakers, I feel, to resolve this one. They've been locked in battle for most of the race. You can see on the map just how far 10 seconds translates into. It's the entire length, near enough, of this straight. Oops, as Racing Rick wanders a bit too wide on the exit of 14. 10 seconds is the entire length of this straight. That is the extent of Piloto Paya's race lead at this moment. And he has no interest in slowing down whatsoever. The fastest lap does belong to him. But here we go. Final lap in this first race. Cryptic's not had a great exit from turn 15, but he's still trying to make up for lost ground. Racing Rick, not even he's going to make a dive from that far back. And indeed, he doesn't. I realised as soon as I said it that he may well go for it anyway, but he didn't. But he's going to want to make the move into turn 4. Can he stay on the back of Nixana? DRS open for the third place driver. Can he do it? He's going to gain enough to do it this time. His last opportunity really is going to be turn 11. But he needs to keep it good and true as they come through the twisties once again.
Yeah, Bottas Gang had a little off there, which has allowed Marky Mark to get that P5 locked in. Bottas Gang's still relatively there, but these guys that put the for P2, they're really scrapping. I'm seeing the way that Nixana and Racing Rick are taking these lines. Cryptic is just looking for any way into this to try and get that position that he was so close to taking. Like you said, he had to bail out at the last second, and it was a perfect bailout. He's well within his right, I guess, to pile into the back of them. Racing Rick's had a bad exit. Here comes Cryptic. Racing Rick's in big trouble. He knows it. He's had to go so defensive into the first of the left-hander. And I think Cryptic's actually got the move done. He has. Round the outside. He's going to have to hold this line, but Racing Rick is still there. Cryptic, how are you going to return this? A little bit of touch, a little bit of mistake from both drivers, and somehow Racing Rick fends him off. But it's not over. Lil dash to the end. Piloto in race lead will take the win, but we need to see who gets P3.
Your winner in the opening round of Bahrain is indeed Piloto. Oh my goodness, Cryptic has made the big lunge into the final turn. It was his last opportunity. They're going to be side by side. Nixana's going to take 2. Racing Rick has just nosed ahead of Cryptic. I can't remember who's got penalties. And Racing Rick comes across the line. Cryptic did actually have a 2-second penalty on there, but I think Racing Rick crossed the line first of those two anyway. What a fight between the two. Bottas Gang elevated up into 5th position. Marky Mark 6th. Horn Badger, what might have been for him. He's going to come across the line 7th position. Hardy F1 will take 8th. Prafix and Luger have been really struggling. Marquez, a lap down, has already crossed the line. Wow. That is why we love the F2 League.
And it's not even over yet. We've still got the sprint race. So pay attention to the positions that they come in, because it's reverse grid for the top 8. So whoever's in P8 will get P1.
Do I have time to restart? Because I'm having some FPS issues.
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
We will do the rundown whilst Mr. Kodiak is restarting his game. If we have a look at the grid rundown then, it is Piloto Paya who did get the win and the fastest lap. So there's even more points to go into his already large pocket. 27 points secured. Nixana in P2. We saw a very good battle between him, Racing Rick, and Cryptic. And also Bottas Gang was involved in that to an extent for a while, until we saw a little bit of contact between Bottas and Nixana. Hopefully he can redeem himself, but he's still there. He's still got P5, still managed to secure 10 points. But what you didn't see there was, because of Cryptic's 2-second penalty, he was actually 1,000th of a second after Racing Rick at touching the line. That's just how close it was. So Marky Mark takes 6th, Hardy takes 7th, Prefix, who will take 8th, will start the race in P1 going into the sprint race, with Luger there in 9th, Badger in 10th, Marquez in 11th, and the 2 DNFers then were Ravenduck and Beaker, who've really got everything to return. When it comes to the weekend points, Piloto is the only one who's got anything different, because he got the qualifying and the fastest lap in that round. So he's really chucked it in. 31 points in total. It's going to be very difficult for Nixana now to be able to pull this back. He's going to need the full win and the fastest lap points, and also pray somehow that Piloto has a major issue. But if he's chucking in lap times like he currently is, then there should be there's no way that this can change.
I do return. Or I have rebooted, I should say.
Are you in the lobby?
I am returning.
Ah, perfect. Well, we are in the load screen at the minute with 15 seconds remaining, so there should be time. Don't forget we have a formation lap anyway, so there's plenty of time for you to load back in and get ready for this final of the F2 races. Oh, the best bit is about this, the thing I love about doing the F2s first is that even when you've just had some insane racing in the F2s, it's still not over, because you have the F1s straight afterwards, and it's so good. I'm so happy. Right, here we go then. So we are underway with the formation lap. Prefix will lead us away. Mr. Kodiak has returned. He is going to be spectating this beautiful battle for 6 laps around the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's going to be Prefix Hardy in 1 and 2. Marky Mark in 3rd. Bottas Gang 4th. Cryptic 5th. Racing Rick 6th. Nixana 7th. And Piloto 8th. They're the only differences to what you saw at the end of the last race. It's I want to see how Piloto is going to work his way through this field. This is going to be quite tough for him.
And with only 6 laps to do it, that's no mean feat. And we know how quick these drivers are. I am back in session and can see the beauty of this track in the daylight.
Yeah.
It's almost odd to see this car in the track in the daylight.
Yeah, it's true, actually. I never really paid attention to it, but most of the time when we do this Grand Prix for F1, obviously, it's night time. But in the F2s, yeah, rightly so, this would be the right time of the day for the F2 cars. I'm looking at the tyre choices, and only 5 people have chosen for the mediums, which you would argue is actually a bad thing. But in all honesty, if you wait till around about lap 4, 5, those softs will fall apart. It is very easy to do on this track, especially with how much demand the tyres are receiving from this track. The mediums will start to come to life, so those Cryptic, Racing Rick are in with a chance of getting a really solid points position again. Piloto, though, he's opted for softs.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see the mediums in use for this race, but these guys know what they're doing, all right. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Particularly, the likes of Piloto and Cryptic. I mean, you argue they all know what they're doing.
Maybe not Beaker. Oh, Toto's back. There we go. He's back.
Yeah, Toto is indeed. He's with us.
He did actually say, and I'm quoting you here exactly. Toto did say he was going to do a last first, and he's calling it. So, I mean, look, Toto, I believe in you. I know you have the ability to do it. I mean, looking at your drivers you're up against, it's going to be really tough. You've got to find a way to get the best start and get alongside Piloto in order for your chance to be able to win this. But Toto, we all believe.
That's a big old statement, but hell, if you're that confident, we look forward to watching either a storm or a downfall.
Would you like to lead us away on the start of this Grand Prix?
I would be honoured. As the field have reformed, let's see if we're going to have any delay in the start. No, not this time. 5 lights for the second round in the heat of Bahrain. It is time to wind them up and let them go. There was a very slow start from Prefix. He's going to be under a lot of pressure. 4 wide as we're streaming on down towards turn 1. Who is going to come out on top this time around? Bottas has come through into first position. Can he hold it? Oh, Badger, huge move coming through the inside. Oh, that's too optimistic. There's contact, there's penalties already. We haven't even done one sector of this race. Bottas going 1, Prefix 2, Marky in 3rd. Whoa, somebody's way off the field there. I think it's Luca again, really not getting on with this circuit, but everybody is still running in the right direction. Piloto up into 2nd. Oh, that's a spin. That's, is it?
Raven Duck.
That's Raven Duck. Oh, no. He will be ruining that one, I'm sure. Looking at Piloto, he's side by side with Horn Badger, who has got no front wing on that car at all. He's going to be descending through the field. But what a crazy start to this race. Bottas doing what he can to get a decent start. Marky Mark up into 2nd. No, he's not. He's side by side coming through turn 9. Through turn 10, rather. He's side by side with Prefix, but no, he's had a great exit from that turn and streamed on down, trying to catch Bottas going. Nixana for Paya is up to 5th position now. So he's got a little bit of a gap to gain, but he is really in the power seat. He's cleared the medium runners in the first lap. That's exactly what he needed to do.
Racing Rick just had a big wobble coming through turn 11 to 12, and it almost cost him a position as Toto's going for a send. Here it is, down the inside. This is going to be a tight one. He's looking for as much as possible, but he cannot pull that one off. I was seeing so many battles. Prefix and Marky Mark.
Oh, Nixana! Oh, sorry to cut you off there, Ben. And Nixana has had a look on the inside of Prefix coming into the final turn. And he's had a decent run from the exit of that corner side by side now as they're coming down the start finish straight. Nixana's got a little bit more pace, but that seems to have equaled out. And now Prefix has started to edge away from Nixana, who's going to be the bravest on the brakes coming into turn 1. And Prefix, it looked like he's let that one go. And Nixana up into 3rd. Can he hold it? It looks like he's got him, yes. But can Prefix now come back at him on the 2nd DRS zone coming down towards turn 4? Ooh, is he going to have a look? And no DRS, of course it is not yet. Prefix on the inside. He gets chopped off by Nixana. And that's put Prefix in a pass spin. And that's given Piloto P4.
Yeah, Piloto's really looked in there. He absolutely smashed around the outside of Prefix because that little bit of contact between the two teammates. Not teammates, sorry. It was the Sauber driver, not the... I looked at the colours and saw the same thing. Anyway, never mind. Prefix lost control of his car as a result of that contact, and he did catch it very nicely. He could have gone full rotation, but no. Kept it still going, and he's still P5. Beaker's closing in towards it, though, but he's also having issues. I don't think he's got damage. He just does not look comfortable in these F2 cars.
Was the way it goes sometimes. Hardy and Cryptic having a fight for 11th position. Oh, there's a nudge between the two. Oh, and a big move, a big wobble there from Hardy coming through turn 10. That's not going to help his charge. And Cryptic is looking like he's having a go at Marquez now for 10th position. There he goes. The medium tyres now starting to come good as Nixana has got on the penalty board. Quite a lot of penalties going on. Oh, that's Raven Duck. He's stationary. No front wing on his car. That is the end of his race. Oh, my goodness me. His day gets no better. Torto on the back of Horn Badger, and Raven Duck stops to retire the car, and that's Torto. I keep saying Torto because that's what it says. Torto on the outside. That was a great move from Torto on the outside of the final turn to claim that 8th position. But Bottas getting that 2.5 seconds to the good up front. He's looking very strong.
He really is. Oh, Nick Sanders made a mistake. He's under attack now from the fastest driver on track so far this weekend. Piloto going for a move. Going to have to take the outside because Nick Sanders defended the inside very well, holding it all the way out, and he just cannot get it. Yellow flag further down in Sector 1. That is Torto, who sadly lost his car. He span around. He's not dead. He's just injured, I believe. Piloto still sticking with it. Nick Sanders gone. Big off into the wall. Somehow. Oh, there you go. He's out. That was a big crash.
Yeah, he hit the wall with a hell of a rate of speed. And Paya now up into 3rd, but he's got 5 seconds near enough to close down to Bottas gang with only 3 and a bit laps to do it. I mean, if anybody can, he can, but that, I think, is a big ask even for him.
Yeah, just a tad. I think he might still get the fastest lap, though, in all honesty. But the bit I want to see is when the mediums come to life. Because the mediums will actually start to activate around about the end of lap 4, start of lap 5, and that's when the softs will die off. This track demands so much from those softs, and I think that the wear is just too much for them to handle. When the mediums light up, we might see, although we have been talking about it, we might see Beaker wake up a little bit more. He's already gained 8 places, bear in mind. He is P5, and he's currently the biggest winner, if you like, on track to get up to P5. He's got a lot to do, though, to get anything further. 1.2 seconds off the back of Prefix, who's 2 seconds away from Piloto. If that tyre does degrade in the way I think it will, then Beaker should start to close in even more.
Well, the pressure's on him to carry the flag for the medium runners, you could argue, with Racing Rick, who's just got on the penalty board himself, another 3.5 seconds behind Beaker. It falls on Beaker's shoulders to show what the medium tyres are capable of. 3.6 seconds. I think Marky Mark may have made a mistake somewhere, or a small mistake. The Bottas gang is absolutely flying. If he's going to be suffering tyre drag, he is not showing it at all. I mean, bearing in mind they wouldn't have done a qualifying session on these tyres either. So I'm not convinced.
He's going for a move on Hardy. DRS swing down the inside. Quite a simple move, but Hardy could get this back if he gets the right cutback. Toto's had a lot of issues so far this race. He's trying his best to pull it back. Oh, Prefix. He's off. Prefix.
Yeah, he's had a trouble. He's lost that one on the exit of turn 8. I think Badger did that last time around as well. So that's made Beaker's life a little bit. Oh, we've lost Nixana. We saw that huge incident from Nixana earlier on. So he was already on the sidelines. So now that's 4th for Beaker. He's got 3.8 seconds to close to Piloto Paya. Oh, that's a hard ask considering how fast we know the drive he is. So
yeah,
that's going to be very, very difficult. He's going to hope for trouble as Horn Badger has lost a spot to Cryptic. Horn Badger now, bear in mind he's been through the pits. Oh, we saw him missing a front wing earlier on.
Indeed. I mean, Badger is AI, sadly. I think he did disconnect. But his AI is doing a good job of keeping up with Cryptic and sort of sitting on the back of him. Still has wing damage, even on the left-hand side between him and I don't know who it was he collided with, but Cryptic, I don't know if he knows this. He's just decided to stop letting Badger get the toe. And it's come back out. And Piloto is now within DRS range of Marky Mark. So this is a battle for P2. And look at the gap between Bottas Gang and Marky Mark. That's suddenly dropped drastically, along with Marky Mark's rear end, who's just dropped out massively as well. Now Piloto is in for a chance. Now Piloto has pretty much secured the weekend anyway, because the only person who was close enough was Nixana, who was on 18 points. I don't think anybody can contest this, even Bottas Gang, even if he gets fastest lap, which currently is sat with him at the minute. He is a good fastest lap, to say the least. Marky Mark ran deep. Here comes Piloto. quite tight, quite slow on the exit, but better than Marky Mark did. And there he is down the inside. DRS wing wide open. Should be a very simple overtake for P2.
Yeah, Marky Mark's got nothing left on those rear tyres. Oh, that was very close coming into turn 11. Yeah, Marky Mark, that tail is getting absolutely... It's very, very lively, so he's struggling to keep that one under control as Marquez gets another penalty on the board. So a simple move for Paya, I think, unless Bottas drops it again. Like so, again, the rear is just getting away from Marky Mark. Good catch for him, but it's just... He's not getting any traction down when he needs it. Might fall into the traps of Beaker if he falls off the road, but yeah, I think the gamble of the mediums isn't realistically paying off. Looking at, we're not seeing too many of the soft runners have these big problems. Wow, Paya really feeling the need to defend very, very early. He wasn't convinced Mark wasn't going to make a move. Coming into turn 1, he's committed to it, despite the fact he's struggling with those rears. Fair play, but Paya was fairly confident in that one and keeps himself in second. But Marky Mark, here we go again. Know how strong the DRS is down this particular section, heading towards turn 4. And no, he can't make the move stick. And I think he's going to have to sit there and deal with it, unfortunately, unless he can cool those tyres down, which is exceedingly difficult to do here. I think he's going to have to sit there for P3 unless someone falls off the road.
Yeah, Piloto Paya is doing a very good job of keeping Marky Mark back, and Marky Mark's doing a very good job of keeping his car pointing in the right direction. You've seen so many times in the hard acceleration zones where he's just losing that rear just a touch, especially in these cars. They have such a high torque in the lower gears. He's done a very good exit there, actually. This could be an opportunity for him to get it. Maybe not through the end of this straight, but if he can get the exit throughout the 11 and 12, he might actually jump Piloto. Well, we're at least going to see another battle like we saw Cryptic, or maybe not, because that was a loss of the rear end again from Marky Mark. Piloto has managed to pull away just nicely, is sitting there very comfortably in P2, and I didn't see any penalties applied to Bottas Gang, so I think it will stay Bottas Gang P1, Piloto P2. Let's go on board with Bottas Gang as he comes up through the final corner for the final time in this sprint race. Bottas Gang had a very rough first race, still managed to secure some solid points, but he's off track there. And Piloto makes it for P2. Marky Mark takes P3. Beaker will take P4 with Racing Rick making his way up towards the line as well. He will take P5. And Prefix shortly will be in 6th with Cryptic 7th, Tortor 8th, Badger 9th. Although Tortor I think has actually got penalties. I think Badger might actually jump him, despite the fact he's not actually there. Let's see.
Spectacular finish for Tortor there.
Yeah. It was a good little loss of the rear on purpose there. Hardy then will make it to best of the rest situation, unless Lugger has a lot of penalties, which he does not. And Marquez, who's that little bit further back, will have a few corners to go before we get to the end of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, he's been through the pits, unfortunately, as Marquez. So it's been a race to forget, a weekend to forget for Marquez, unfortunately. And that's the way it goes sometimes. You put on all the practice you need and all the qualifying times you like, but if it all goes against you on the day, it is all for nothing. Yeah. So Marquez then, the only car to come over the line. But you can't take that away from Bottas, gang. He absolutely nailed the start, ran off into the distance exactly as he needed to do. I think there's maybe one or two mistakes, considering how many mistakes we've seen from the rest of the field. He absolutely nailed it. And Marquez also doing the dramatic finish.
Yeah, very good ending to that Grand Prix then. Wow, what an F2 series that was. I'm so ready now for the F1 races, and you haven't got very long to wait in order for us to get that underway. We do have a nice little hype video for you, so remember, stay tuned for that. But the more important thing to check is, what is the weekend rundown at the end of the Grand Prix? So Bottas Gang did get the win in that sprint race, as we saw, and the fastest lap to boot, with Piloto there in 2nd, Marky Mark in 3rd, Beaker in 4th, with Racing Rick in 5th, Prefix 6th, Cryptic 7th, Tortor did get 8th, didn't quite manage the last to first challenge as he thought he would go for. Badger got 9th with Lugger in 10th. Best of the rest is Hardy, with Marquez being the only other finisher, as we lost Nexana and Raven Duck towards the end of that Grand Prix. But the weekend results overall are Piloto Paya, who takes the win very comfortably, 43 points. Into his pocket there. He was actually only 3 points away from getting the fastest. Sorry, 5 points away. Sorry, from getting the fastest that you could possibly get, the most points for the entire weekend. As he got the qualifying points, he got the round 1 points, he almost got round 2 points. And he gets the fastest lap from first one. Just didn't quite get it in the second. So Bottas takes second. Racing Rick takes third. Nixana fourth. Marky Mark fifth. Cryptic sixth. Prefix seventh. Beaker eighth. Hardy ninth. Lugger 10th. And you got tied for 11th is Badger and Tortor, with Marquez and Ravenduck being the remainder. Right, guys. We are going to take a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have some nice little music for you. And we'll have a hype video. We'll be right back